Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, a couple of weeks ago my Kings of War Kickstarter stuff came through, the second edition, the rule books and various other accessories. So let's have a look, shall we? First of all, the rule books. Soft cover first, and as I always do with soft cover books, I don't know if you can see, I've covered the corners with tape. Maybe you can see the shine on the light there. That helps protect them over time, since they are going to get well used. And this is just your basic rules. All your army lists in there. And then the rules, which don't take up a huge amount of the book. We're on special rules already. So let's see how many pages are actually rules, shall we? So we're on to scenarios, and there we're on to the forces from page 40. So it's less than 40 pages of rules. So, not complicated at all, the text is quite big. Very easy game. And it's nice to have all the army lists at the back, specifically this one, the goblins. Nice and compact, so you don't have to go digging around too much to find them. Next we have the big juicy hardcover. Nice and rigid and firm. In here we have, as well as the same things you get in the soft cover, in addition you also get all the backstory, the fluff, some more artwork. A lot more artwork. This is really the luxury book. You wouldn't want to be carting this one with you to tournaments, so it's always nice to have a smaller version of the rules for that, but this is a nice one to put on your shelf. Looks very tasty. I'll have to have a proper read through this at some point and take in all the wonderful backstory and immerse myself in the world of Mantica. And of course you've got all the rules in there as well. So if you've got one of each and your opponent doesn't yet have a rule book, you can take one each for the game. All in all, very pleased with the books. One thing that I don't really like in rule books is when you have a big huge one like this here, and then you're forced to go through this and wade through pages upon pages to find your army list, and then because there's pictures everywhere, it's scattered over multiple pages, so it's quite difficult. However, that problem is taken away completely with this smaller book, because there aren't too many pictures at all. In fact, I think virtually every army has only the necessity to turn the page maybe once. Yeah, look, there we go. All the goblin units across 3 pages. So rather than having to print out a sheet with all the rules on, I can just have the book open to this page and it's got absolutely everything I need on there. So now let's get to some of the accessories, shall we, that came with the game. There are various ways you can track your wounds in Kings of War, and they've provided a few for you. Here we have some little trays that you can put behind your units and put dice in them to mark how much damage they've taken. You can put these, I'm not sure if they're blood splatter or explosions, but you can stack those up on these little sticks that they provide to mark how much damage your unit's taken if you want. And they've got some smaller ones there. There's any number of ways you can do it. It would have been nice if they'd thrown in a few more of these actually, because I don't think 4 is really going to cut it, because I do like to mark the damage with dice. We have more plastic bits. This is always very handy for checking out your arcs of sight and whatnot. 6-inch ruler. Where would you be without one of those? And this, if I can slot a little arrow into it, will mark your game turn. You can see there it's marked 1 to 7, with the 7th turn being on a 4+. So that's quite nice. It's not too loose fitting in there, so it's not going to be sliding all over the place, the arrow, which is nice. Then in these bags we've got various counters for units being wavering and disordered and so on. So that's nice to have. Now on to the miniatures. A base. And what comes with that is the Bard Ronaldo, in the likeness of Mantic Ronnie. He has a thing for bards apparently. Now, while this is a nice model to have, I do have a slight issue with it. He comes with one of these bases. Bit tricky if you're putting him on that side. You're probably going to want to turn it upside down, but even then it's only a very small point of contact, so you're probably going to have to pin it to the base. Would have been nice if he had a kind of round insert under his foot to go on the base, but that's only a minor criticism. However, in some ways I'm glad there isn't a round insert under him, because if I wanted to use him for Dungeon Saga, I wouldn't want to put him on a base like this. So it's probably good that it's not there, and also if you're putting him on a multi-base of some kind, you'd probably chop that off anyway, so I can see why there isn't one there. Next up we have the Tyrant King Blaine, who's on some kind of dinosaur, and the first thing that struck me when I saw this was, wow, it's resin and it's not restic, so that is really nice. Bit of bendiness going on with his weapon there, but I imagine that'll be set straight quite easily in the usual style, probably hot water. I'll check before I attempt that though, since this is a different kind of resin. Very, very tasty model. It's nice to see them using real resin now. I know a lot of people hate restic, so hopefully this is going to be the first of many that we see in this material. Cavalry base, of course. I'm sure people will be able to find a use for this guy. So that concludes the contents of my Kings of War Kickstarter pledge. I'm very, very pleased with it overall, and I'm very much enjoying the games I've played of it so far. I'm hoping to get some more in very soon, and you can look forward to seeing more battle reports. More battles from the Orange Goblins, of course, and I'm able to use my old Warhammer Fantasy armies, obviously, such as my Dwarves and my Undead, which are mostly Mantic models anyway, so I'll probably use some of those in battle reports as well. So, stay tuned, and ta-ta for now, ladies and gentlemen.